Barakateh Hawa, Bahashem Mehawashai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Various Topics, dated, February 16, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and destruction of Esau and their judgment. And pretty much, I have had a lesson, set up for earlier. But Lord's will, I can get to it tomorrow. I just pretty much finished my protocol with the brother from from San Francisco, Hanak. And, it's pretty much almost an all-day thing. And every time I wanted to get ready to do the lesson, I had to do something else. And then I had to run to the store and grab a few things. And, so got a little late. So, I won't have a chance to do this particular lesson that I want to do. With Lord's will, I'll get to it tomorrow. But I'm just going to do something, to feed the sheep, feed the lambs, keep them, fed. Even though there's plenty of videos going up, even though there's plenty of videos on the channel, but, the feeding is daily. Yahweh said, you love me, feed my sheep, feed my lambs. And pretty much I didn't really have anything to go into, so I'm kind of listening to a few things to get an inspiration. But I forget what exactly was said, but I was watching a couple of videos, and pretty much, this whole mantra of the New World Order is pretty much something that has been labeled a conspiracy theory, which by now, it's more of a conspiracy fact, because everything that has been talked about for years, that people labeled a conspiracy, people label somebody a nut for, is all coming to fruition. All right. And when we look at the New World Order, right, we're just going to go here to Wikipedia, right? Knock this out. It says New World Order. New World Order, NWO, is a term used in several conspiracy theories, which hypothesizes a secret emerging totalitarian world government. And that's exactly what it is, because that's what the scriptures speak about. When we go to Revelation, and this is something that is not anything new, something that's been going on since the beginning of time. They tried it, during, Egyptian Empire. They tried it in the different empires that came after that. They tried it at the Tower of Babel, which was the repopulation of the planet at the time, or of the world after the flood. They tried it everywhere, and it's no different today. And this is why they're bringing the world into the direction that they're bringing it in, because this New World Order is pretty much based off of control, total control of the population of the world. And the way they're going to do that is by the monetary system, through cornering the majority of the world to take it deceptively, and also by using, as they say, food as a weapon. And then by using food as a weapon, most people can deal with a lot of, without a lot of things. But one thing they can't deal without for long periods of time is water and food. All right. And when we read here, let's see, Revelation 17 and 12. And then when you read Revelation 17, the woman that is speaking about the harlot is speaking about America in general. All right. And when you understand the dynamic of the book of Revelation and the mysteries and the same pretty much group of wording that's being used throughout Revelation, as is, the scarlet colored beast, or the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, that is a conglomeration of empires of Esau, going back to the beginning of their empire, which was the Greek Empire. Now, when you go back to the Greek Empire, you have a saying today I'm not sure when it was coined, but you have a saying today that history began or civilization began with the Greeks. No, civilization did not begin with the Greeks because, first of all, you are not the Greeks. You took over the Greek Empire, or you should I say, you took over that the land of Greece, Macedonia, and all those lands there. So you're not the originators of that place, all right? And civilization was well established way before you. There were many empires, many kingdoms before you that were thriving, that had, thriving civilizations that, had an economy, that had a set of rules, regulations, laws, governments, and all of that. So you're not, it didn't start with you, but civilization, what you call civilization starting is when you so-called white people, you Edomites, started to become a ruling force in the world as world empires. All right. So these seven heads that you read about constantly in the book of Revelation and also in the I believe also in the book of Daniel, if I'm not mistaken, where it speaks about the seven heads and the 10 horns. Um, this began with the Greeks, and the last head or the seventh head was the British, and America came out of Britain, but she came out of also all seven of those empires. Okay, and today the final empire, which is the revival of the ancient Roman Empire through America, Babylon the Great, is emerging as or has emerged as a world empire, and they're pushing their new world order status on the world. So when we read Revelation 17 and 12, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings." So that seven heads had 10 horns on them. The seven heads represent the seven major empires, and the 10 horns represent allies of these seven heads, or allies of these empires, which pretty much today, which America would be the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. Today, the allies that the 10 horns represent are what they call today the European Union, which goes back to the EEC, or the European Economic Community, which began. They fully got their charter in January 1st of 1958, but they began the process of it in March of 1957. All right, so that's the EU, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast, right? And they came into power in 1958. All right. It says these have one mind. And what is that one mind? World order that they're all coming together to bring. But since America, became an empire, all of these nations have been pretty much ruled, unjustly, and they're getting tired of this whore, as the scriptures call it, and they're going to turn around and fire their missiles upon America and destroy this place because they're sick and tired of it. So it says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So they're going to come together as one because they are going to bring forth what they call a new world order, or a one world government. So this whole conspiracy theory, as we're reading over here, or as they're saying, it's a conspiracy theory through totalitarian world government, is nothing new. I'm just gonna go back because we could read it here, but I want to go back here to the back of a dollar bill, right? You type in back of $1 bill, and when you go to it, and we go to images, I'm gonna see if we could pull up a really good one. For those of you that may not know, this is the main point we want right here. Let's open this up so you get a clearer picture. All right, perfect. All right, let's get rid of that. Now let's blow this up. Now, if you see here, this says Annuit Coeptis, or our enterprise has been crowned with success. You have the all-seeing eye, which is an eye of Satan. You have the illumination coming off of it, which is a representation of the so-called Illuminati or the enlightened ones, which that wasn't even new, because it went back to the 1500s under Ignatius de Loyola, which had a group of men that came together that had something called Los Alumbrados, which are the illuminated ones. All right. You have on the bottom of this pyramid Roman numerals. So what are Roman numerals and Roman writing doing on the back of a dollar bill if the average American speaks English? Well, because when they set up and established America, they set it up in the guise or in the image of the ancient Roman Empire. That's why all governmental agencies are shaped, their architecture is shaped like the ancient Roman Empire. And all the legislation and different practices that they use today are go back to the Latin language. So when you look at these Roman numerals, you have MDCCLXXV1, right? And this represents 100. D represents 500. The C represents 100. So that would be what? 1,500, 16, 17. So that represents 17. The L represents 50. The X represents 10. So you got two tens. So 50 and two tens is what? 70. V represents a 5, and the 1 represents a 1. So this put together is 1776. Now, the average person out there that doesn't have a clue thinks that this goes back to July 4th, 1776, which is the birth of America, or the independence of America, should I say, because it goes back before that. And it doesn't go back to 1776, July 4th. It really goes back to May 1st, 1776, which is the birth date of the Bavarian faction of the Illuminati that was born in Germany, Bavaria, Germany, headed by Adam Weishaupt or Adam Weishaupt, way back then. And what do we have here? What is their enterprise that has been crowned with success? Novus Ordo Seclorum. Now, why was it crowned with success? The reason why it was crowned with success is because by this point, when they had the seal put on the reverse of the dollar, which was, I believe that was either 32 or 33, if I'm not mistaken, 1932, 33, under the Roosevelt administration. By this point, they had already established the third central bank, which was in the guise of a governmental agency under the Federal Reserve System. So this dollar bill was pretty much the announcement of the New World Order that was going to come through this Federal Reserve note. And this is why they wanted the whole world to get on that Federal Reserve note, so that they can put the world into debt to eventually, through the manipulation of governments and debts and all of that, bring the world into what they really wanted, which is the MOTB, which is the micro C-HIP. All right. And this is what they wanted the whole time. This is why I did a lesson the other day with a woman that quoted, some transcript from the secret papers of Woodrow Wilson in a conversation they had with Edward Mandell House. And they tell you exactly how they wanted to pretty much, in so many words, track everybody and have everybody, on data, for lack of better words. You could go back and watch the video. It was a post or video on Instagram, so I couldn't put the link in the description box, because a lot of times they get rid of those links if they're not a YouTube video. All right. So through this monetary system, they were able to announce the New World Order, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Novus is new, Ordo is order, Seclorum is age, the new world age or the new world order. So this is not something new that we see going on today. Whenever you hear presidents and different diplomats and different heads of state or different people of the world, leaders, when you hear the Pope speaking and speaking about a new world order, this is what it goes back to bring the whole world together as one. And this is pretty much why you have Washington, D.C., you have uh, um, the city state of London, and you have Vatican, which is also a city state, and so is D.C. These are all the spearheads, for lack of better words, of this new world order. And that's why it speaks about that in the book of Revelation, chapter 16, which is the previous chapter, and verse, oh snap, what happened? I hit the wrong thing. My bad. It's like I'm a little on the T to the I to the R to the E to the D. Revelation 16 and 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of mouth of the Salakia. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. The dragon represents the Roman Empire. The mouth of the beast, the beast represents the EU and NATO, and the false prophet represents the Vatican, but it also represents the three city states of Washington D.C., the city state of London, and also the Vatican. And these are the three main vehicles, for lack of better words, that are driving this new world order, forward. All right. It says, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, and you see the miracles happening even as we speak through their technology, which goeth forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the power almighty, which is Armageddon, or the valley of Jehoshaphat." All right. And this is the final analysis of this because I forget what year, I believe it was the 1800s, late 1800s, where you had the Pike Mazzini blueprint, which was Albert Pike, which was a Freemason, and then you had Giuseppe Mazzini, and they drew up a plan of three world wars, and at the final end of the Third World War, they will have the world. And then pretty much World War III and the missiles are supposed to be used as a scare tactic to the world to have them accept, world peace by giving up their security, their rights, their freedom, so on and so forth. So we're at that point now where they're about to implement the final nail, so to speak. But when they go to do this, I'm gonna give you Job, and then there was another scripture that came to mind. Let me see if I can remember. Okay, Salakia. Salakia for that. Please bear with me. I know it's disgusting, but please forgive me. All right, so matter of fact, we got the wrong verse. Here we go. So when we go to Job chapter 20, which I got the wrong verse, the wrong chapter. Job chapter 20 and verse I'll start here. Job 20:22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straight. So right now, they're almost at the point of the fullness of their sufficiency, and they're reaching the apex of their kingdom. Even though America's in a downward trajectory at the end of their empire, but their new world order is reaching the apex. And when the Lord comes back, He said He's going to destroy this devil. He's the destruction is going to waste at noonday. Now, noonday is the highest part of the day where the sun is the highest, and this is a representation of Esau's kingdom being at its height, and thinking that he's going to really establish all of his, plans that he has been, putting into effect, going all the way back to 1776 and even before that. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, which is, and you see, the workers of America, and you see around the world, people are displeased with the rulers. They're displeased with the unfair wages. They're displeased with, their poverty, famine, and there's a lot of different things that they're displeased with, and they're coming up against these world governments, especially here in America. All right. So when he's at his fullest is when everybody else is going to be at their lowest. And since 2020, these devils have amassed or doubled or tripled or even quadrupled their wealth from back then. When they put the world in this frightened state and pretty much caused the collapse of a lot of things, and only their businesses can thrive, and only they were able to make money. So from that point on to here, they're on a high trajectory, and financially, and they've outsourced a lot of jobs. There's a lot of people being laid off. The homeless population has exploded, you know, and this is just pretty much at the breaking point of chaos out here, and that's what they want. They want chaos in the streets so they could bring in this new world order, because one of their mantras is, order ad chaos, which is order out of chaos. All right. So it says, when he is about to fill his belly, meaning now he got the world, now he has everything where he wants. Now he's not so much dependent on secrecy anymore, because the main thing that kept the New World Order going before was the secrecy that they had, to be able to keep this plan secret until they can get it off the ground and get the nails or the teeth in, so that they can be able to push forward this agenda, so now they're at that point. So now they're not concerned with if the secrets leak out. They're not concerned if people know about them. They're not hiding it anymore. They're pretty much speaking out in plain sight. So much so that President Trump wanted the Christians to vote for him. Christians, love you Christians, my lovely Christians. And then he said, I'm not Christian, because they're not. They're the devil that the Bible speaks of. And that, I don't know if that was just a Freudian slip, or if he just said it because this guy, like Apostle Tar always says, he just runs his mouth. He doesn't think about what he says. He just says whatever comes to his mind. So they're at the point now where they're comfortable enough to where they can let all these secrets out and it wouldn't matter anyway. Because I believe it was McLuhan, I forget his first name. He said it. He said, the only thing that needs to be kept from the public are small secrets, because the big secrets are kept secret by their incredulity. So it says, when he is about to fill his belly, meaning when he is pretty much ready to dig his fork into his plate, because the plate is there. It's about to be served. It's about to be dinner time. The Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while he's in the midst of putting this thing together and getting ready to reap the fruits of his labor and be able to enjoy the fruits of his labor from all the wickedness that they've done, going all the way back to the 1700s and before that, it says the Lord is going to cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while you're on the verge of setting up this new world order and establishing everything and having the world micro-see hip and having the world grovel at your feet so that they can, be able to survive, that's when the Lord is going to bring you down. And that rain is going to come in the form of nuclear missiles, and also is going to come in the form of the lasers from the chariots. It says he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the iron weapon represents the nuclear missiles, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So that's the nuclear missiles is what's going to destroy this devil. Now the bow is a representation of the nuclear silos. All right. And you can read the rest of this, it goes into the destruction and everything. But I want to leave you with this scripture here in the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12, because it says he disappointed the devices of the crafty. Esau is the crafty. And what is their device? The New World Order. That's what they're bringing and trying to establish. And this is what they've been planning and plotting this whole time. And while you had several individuals, out there revealing them, the average public, whatever the news says, whatever their leaders say, they follow it. So when they just blurted out their conspiracy theorists, automatically when you start speaking about truth and you start speaking about the plans of the future and how these devils have a new world order agenda, most people will just say, oh, you're a conspiracy theory, and they'll dismiss everything else you say after that, because that is the buzzword that was put into their ears. That anytime they hear anything like that, it's got to be preposterous because the government says so, or because the media said so, or because their leaders said so. All right. So, but the Lord said he disappointed the devices of the crafty, and this is their device, right? It says so that their hands, or meaning their actions, cannot perform their enterprise. So they will not be able to perform this enterprise that they brought forth. And when you read Novus Ordo Seclorum, it says not Novus Ordo Seclorum, Annuit Coeptis, our enterprise has been crowned with success. So they got the crowning, they got the foot forward. They're almost at the point where it's all set and done. All they got to do is have the right crisis or whatever manipulation they have to set it in motion. And then once they set it in motion for good, that's when the Lord's going to bring them down. So the enterprise is the word thawashayah, which is wisdom, sound knowledge, success, sound or efficient wisdom, adding success, sound, efficient wisdom, abiding success of the effect of sound wisdom. Let's see what else we could find. Undertaking. See, that is their undertaking. And that's another word for enterprise. Their undertaking. Let's look up the word enterprise real quick, and let's see what it says for enterprise. They're gonna probably bring me to the figured that, the car rental place. But let's do a definition. A project or undertaking, see, typically one that is difficult or requires effort. And see, the thing about these devils is that they are patient. They trained up their sons, not their daughters, to take on the family business, to keep forward this agenda, because they know that in their lifetime they weren't going to accomplish it, even from way back then. So they kept training their sons and their sons' sons and their sons' sons and their sons' sons through what they call nepotism, to continue on that legacy, because they knew eventually in the future they would come back and they would be in that lot anyway. So now we're at that point now where this vision that they had, this wicked demonic vision that they had, is coming to fruition now. You see? So they're in place right now as the rich to be able to enjoy the fruits of that wicked demonic labor. All right? So it's a project or undertaking, typically one that is difficult or requires effort. All right? So when they're getting ready to do this, the Lord is going to, not allow them to perform their enterprise. All right? It says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, because the Lord said, well, through the mouth of Asaph in the book of Psalm 73, that he set these devils in slippery places. So basically he set them in a slippery place, and it seems that they're going to do good. It seems that they're going to get by. It seems that they're going to, accomplish this enterprise, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to. But they're so proud and they're so focused on this mission, and they're seeing things coming to play. They're seeing everything, lining up for them. But what they don't understand is when they finally put their final nail in this enterprise, that's when the Lord's going to bring them down. And the counsel of the froward is carried headlong, because there's been many counsels that they've held, secret meetings, as it says in Psalm 64, many secret meetings that they've held to come up with all of these ideas, all of these plans that they had, and they have been talking about it for years, for centuries, for a long period of time, and now it's finally coming to pass. And now they finally have the infrastructure on how to get it done. They have the infrastructure on being able to track the whole world digitally, and that's why everything that you see today in the world is going digital. Everything going on computers. It says, and the counsel of the fraud is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime. That's the secret meeting, or the secret counsel of the wicked, and grope in the noonday as in the night, right? Because even though they have these plans, even though they have the power, even though they have the infrastructure, they're still blind to their future. I believe that's in the book of Isaiah 47. It says they didn't consider their latter end. You see? So this whole new world order that these devils have planned, a newer coeptes, our enterprise has been crowned with success. Nova Soda Seclorum, the new world order or the new world of the ages. It's not going to happen. It's a thought and a dream that you have that's never going to come to pass. You're going to get to it, and then you're going to lose it. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.